This podcast is brought to you by Martin Kearns and the Valor of Valhalla series. In the battle between two ancient evils, can one naive young man become the last hope against powerful creatures of legend? Beneath the Veil is the gripping first book in the Valor of Valhalla dark urban fantasy series. If you like reluctant heroes, infernal myths, and bloody epic clashes, then you'll love Martin Kearns' formidable foray into the unknown. So head on over to readkearns.com and grab yourself a copy of Beneath the Veil today. Hello guys, Happy New Year. Welcome to the very first episode of Stories, the True and the Fictional for 2026. I am one of your hosts, Jay O'Brien. With me always is our resident reader, Ryan. How we going, Ryan?
I'm living the dream, mate. It feels like it's been so long since I've said that. I have been wearing the shirt, but I haven't, been able to vocalize my ability to live the dream. Lots of good stuff, man. Lots of good stuff. I finally finished playing Spider-Man 2 for the second time, which is amazing. Such a great game. I finished a couple of books. I finished one that I was holding off on for a while, and I'm kind of upset that I did because I finished it. It was Honey Parker's V-Life, the first book in the series. It was really good, really good. Really well written, great story, great premise, great addition to the vampire mythos. And I've already got the second one, so I'm looking forward to diving into that. I can't remember if I mentioned on the last episode, but again, I read Death Cult for the second time by Janelle Schiecke, which is great, and picked up the audiobook because our good friend Neil on our awards ceremony episode let me know there was an audiobook of that. So I bought that. So I'm looking forward to listening to that. And currently reading a fantasy novel by my co-host, Jamie. Now that he's finished his first draft, I'm about halfway through that and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with it, and this is one I'm going to be slow on with. I want people to read it. I want to get critiques because this is the first big fantasy I've ever written. So I want to do it special. I want to save up some money and get some really good art done for it. All of that. But I've also started Ancora 2.
All that.
Which is just I just love writing in that world. But
yeah, and I love reading in that world. So as soon as I finish Blood Moon Thief, I'll be like, gimme.
Awesome. Alright guys, remember to check out our sponsors, Rebecca Kearsells, Martin Kearns, our honorary sponsors, one who we're about to speak to, but Janelle Schiecke won the best read, so check out her stuff. Her links are down below. Buy Ryan's Living the Dream shirt, links are down below. But now let's bring in the first interview of the year. Alexander Robb, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I'm pretty excited starting the year off well.
That's it. So, for those who don't know, who is Alexander Robb?
I am an author. I live in the United States, specifically in the state of Utah. I am married and we've got 3 kids, and I just love fantasy. I love pretty much anything that is fictional that is a great story. So video games, books, movies, you name it. I just love to imbibe as much of it as I can. Loved it since I was a young kid. And I write fantasy books.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. And so did you get into reading before video games, or did you get into video games before reading? Or
so it's an interesting story. So I want to say 5 or 6 years old, and I was at my cousin's house, and I've told this before, but he was playing Pokemon Silver, and I told my dad, I was like, hey, I want to learn how to play that, and he said, you can't play that until you're 9 or 10 years old because it requires a lot of reading. And I was like, well, I'll show you. And so I taught myself how to read over that year, and in the process of that, I just fell in love with reading. And so ever since then, I've just, it's kind of like I got into video games at the same time I got into books, and have just loved both. And I consider video games art, but books are art as well. And they're just my 2 favorite mediums.
Yeah, well, it's the storytelling
I just love how far video games have come in the storytelling aspect of everything.
I do as well. And like you've got such varied modes of storytelling. Like you've
Yeah.
got everything from God of War, which is kind of like this linear narrative, and great dialogue, great characters, to Elden Ring, which
Hmm.
is one of my favorite stories of all time. And there you have to go searching for it. And it's just a different mode of presenting a story that you can't do anywhere else. So I
Yeah.
just love I also love how far they've come.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I'm a massive God of War fan from the very first one on PS2 all the way through to Ragnarok. Um, Obviously, the latest two that have come out of the PS4 and 5, God of War and God of War Ragnarok have been a lot more sort of a lot more role play kind instead of the just the linear hack and slash of the first lot. Um, but yeah, I got recommended Elden Ring by another guest of ours a while ago, and I got it on the computer, but I haven't started it yet because I'm kind of afraid because I've been told that it's very in terms of difficulty, it's kind of Dark Souls level difficulty, and Dark Souls and I do not have a great relationship. Um, I think our mutual friend Chris recommended it to me when we first started hanging out, and I bought the first one remastered on the PS4. And yeah, I think I played it for about 45 minutes and was like, nope, I'm done with this. So
Yep.
that's kind of what's holding me back from Elden Ring because everyone on Facebook in the forums that I'm in say it's very like Dark Souls in terms of difficulty. Um, but apparently the story is just absolutely amazing. So I'm trying to level up my skills so that I can attack it.
Yeah, it's super great. I did the same thing as you though. I bought Elden Ring. I'm not really a fan of Dark Souls, because I also am not good at it. Bought Elden Ring, died like 7 or 8 times in the first like 40 minutes. I was like, I'm done with this game, and then like let it sit for about 6 months, and then I was like, I've got to play it again. And I guess like I got better at video games or something in that 6 months because I
Yeah.
just steamrolled through it, and I just it's fantastic.
Okay. Well, I definitely am better at gaming than I was when I tried Dark Souls. So maybe I will. Maybe I'll breach it and I'll give it a go because I love a game with a great story and I've been told so many times by people that the story is absolutely amazing and that's kind of what kept me really wanting to play it.
Yeah, no, you should. And there's Dark Souls kind of has like a linear corridor
Yep.
type of design. There's a lot of leeway you get with Elden Ring because it's more open world, and so there's a
Okay.
lot more strategies you can employ. There's a lot more weapon types that you can kind of use to kind of fit your own play style. And so I feel like there's a lot more player choice that allows you to um, kind of experience how you want. There's also some mechanics in there that they don't decrease the difficulty of the game, but they make it a little bit more manageable for the average
Okay.
player. So,
What he's saying
Okay.
is, you can run away, Ryan. You can run away.
yeah.
I mean, I've gone from, when I first started like seriously gaming, I think when I got my PS4, to playing all the games on, like story mode, like the very easiest mode, to now I'm at not very easy, not easy, but normal, and I'm finishing games on normal, which is kind of it's more of a challenge, but I'm not finding it, the end of the world. I can still beat it. So I'm thinking I might try it. But yeah, I'm just scared. I don't like dying all the time. Um, but I'm also a grinder I love my RPGs, so I'm happy to like I just recently played the Octopath Traveler series and they're games where you have to grind. And I have no issue spending like 8, 9 hours just running around and leveling up, leveling up, leveling up. So if you can do that in Elden Ring, I think I'll be okay.
Yep, you definitely can. Octopath Traveler, another game that I absolutely love. There's some things that I wish the party members interacted a little bit more. but beautiful pixelated kind of like retro modern art style. I love the 3D assets they have in there. Fantastic and beautiful game.
Oh, 100%. I was a latecomer to Octopath Traveler. I recently got like I had was recently in the hospital for quite a while last year and came out in March this year. We moved to a different house.
Last year.
And oh, last year, yeah, okay, it's January, yeah. Last year we moved into a new place, and I found my Switch, my old Nintendo Switch, and unfortunately, because it was old, it was like first release, the battery died, so I ended up getting a Switch 2, and I found I had Octopath Traveler already. I bought it, some other time. I'm like, okay, I've held out on this game. I played the first one. I absolutely fell in love with it. You're 100% right. The only thing that's really missing is more interaction between the 8 characters. I finished the first one, again, 100 hours. Absolutely amazing. I love a game that takes me that long to finish. I bought the second one on my Switch, and I played and finished that. Again, another 110 hours, which is amazing. And I'm currently playing Octopath Traveler 0, which does give you character interaction. So it's a little bit different than the other Octopath Travelers. It's you're the main character. It's not someone else. So you name the character, you design the character, and you get all these other characters joining you. But that main character can go through all the different 8 classes of jobs. And I thought, oh, is that going to throw me off? But it really didn't. It really didn't. I'm 75 hours in, and I feel like I've still got another 50 to 60 hours to go. So it is absolutely, in my opinion, Octopath Zero is my favorite. And it's also it's cool because some of the characters from Octopath Traveler 1 are in Zero, because Zero is a prequel, and you get to interact with them. I'm not going to tell you who, but yeah, so far I've got 3 characters from the first game in my party at the moment. So that's kind of cool that you get to use them as fighters rather than being story driven for them. But yeah, man, if you haven't got it and you haven't played it, it is the best of the 3.
Yeah, it is on my list. I haven't got it yet. But it's pretty high on the priority to play through because I just love that series.
And you know what, I'm kind of glad that because I started playing the first one, and then halfway through the first one, they announced Zero, and they dropped the demo for Zero. So I played the demo. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm pre-ordering this right now. And then it came out in December when I was up in Newcastle when my dad was in hospital. So I was in hospital most of the days, so I got to play it a lot there. So it is a really good game. Graphics are amazing, story fantastic, everything's good. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get these icebreakers going. What do you say?
Yeah, sorry.
How you feeling, Ryan? Do you want to start the year off with the first one?
Yeah, I'll start the new year off with the first one. Okay, so I'm going to set the scene for you. So picture the world that we live in. There's no cruelty to animals. There's no war. We live in a peaceful, utopian society. No one has debt. There's no cost of living increases. Like, everyone has money. Everyone's living comfortably. Everyone owns their own houses. It's an almost perfect world. Almost. Now, given that it's an almost perfect world and there are still a lot of people's pet peeves, what would be something that you want to get rid of?
2 things that I instantly know of: people driving slow in the left lane in traffic, and then when you're at the grocery store and somebody has parked their shopping cart right in front of the item that you need and they're talking to somebody else. Like, just instantly just execute those people. So but get rid of that. Those are my 2 biggest pet peeves. They ruin my day every single time.
The shopping one, 100%. So, because I'm in a wheelchair at the moment because I lost my leg a couple of years ago, And I now get super annoyed at the shopping trolley thing because to the point where it actually happened to me yesterday. And it was yesterday afternoon after I'd spent a whole day in Newcastle visiting my dad. So I got picked up at 8:30 in the morning. This was 5:45 in the evening. So I'm exhausted and I needed to get some soft drink and someone had their trolley right in front of the soft drink I needed to get. And I just pushed it out of the way. I literally just pushed it out of the way. And they looked at me and I'm like, I need to get this. I've been waiting here for minutes already and you're not moving. I need to get this soft drink. And they just looked at me and I'm like, then I just got the soft drink to walk away. But that annoys the crap out of me.
Yep, 100%. That's why I picked it.
You can only sigh so loudly.
Yeah.
I hate the ones that stand in the doorway, like literally the doorway. Like they always run into someone they haven't seen in 20 years in the doorway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you're like, hey, can I get by? They look at you so annoyed. And it's like, I'm not the one like impeding the footpath. Like, get out of my way. You're the one that's in trouble here, not me. So.
That's it.
Or it's another one that's in our local Woolworths here. Couples having arguments in the middle of the aisle, and just like what they're standing blocking the whole aisle essentially, and they're just like, "We need this for dinner. I don't want to eat this for dinner." Oh, and they're going back and forth, and I'm just sitting there waiting to get through, and I say, "Excuse me," nicely first, "Excuse me," and then I go, "Just move," and they're like, "Oh." But yeah,
see, and for me, my annoyance depends on how interesting the argument is. Because if it's just about what they're going to have for dinner, it's not very entertaining. But if it's like, I can't believe you slept with my sister, that's something you want to kind of listen in on.
Gather everyone around.
It's like free entertainment.
That's the moment where you spend like an hour and a half reading the ingredients on a baking mix while they're having the argument so you can listen to it.
Yep.
No, I think I just find something to sit on and just sit right in front of them and just grab some popcorn from the popcorn aisle.
Nice.
You can tell all the employees, like, get over here. Let's clean the aisle. I'll help you.
Awesome. All right. What is something on your bucket list?
I would really like to visit Japan. My wife and I love anime. It's actually when we first met, it was back when anime wasn't popular, and you kind of had to watch it like clandestinely, I guess. You didn't tell anybody because they would look at you like you were super weird. And I found out she really liked Naruto, which I had never seen. And I had watched Sword Art Online, and so we kind of bonded over that initially, and so I would love to visit Japan with my family.
Yeah, we get that answer a lot. We get that answer a lot from a lot of people want to go there for the anime side of things or the technology side of things, the music side of things as well. But I was one of those people, and I'm pretty sure our friend Chris was too, that watched anime when it wasn't cool to watch anime, and now that it's cool to watch anime, I don't really watch that much anymore. But I was a fan of Sword Art Online when it initially, oh God, when it first came out, I did start watching that, so that was pretty cool. But I kind of moved over to more of the horror stuff like Attack on Titan, Death Note, Hellsing, all that kind of stuff like Berserker. But yeah, look, we're getting some quality stuff out here now, but it just doesn't feel the same as when it was like not cool to watch anime, but you did it anyway.
Yeah, my wife and I picked up an older anime called Birdie the Mighty, and it's the remake that was made, I think, in like 2012. It might have been a little bit earlier, but we were watching that, and it was the English dub, and she was just like, man, there's just something about those early English dubs that there's just some magic there that you can't find anywhere else. And I tend to agree that there's something sterile about newer English dubs. I'm a sub watcher, so I normally typically like to watch in Japanese just because I think the voice acting is better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I,
Have you watched Godzilla minus one?
I have. That was an excellent movie. I've tried to get I took my wife to it actually, and I was like, "Hey, we're going on a date. I'm not going to tell you what movie we're watching." And we sat down, and she's like, "We're watching Godzilla." She's like, "I will walk out of this theater because I'm not a fan of Godzilla." I was like, "No, I promise. I've heard this is a really good one." By the end, she absolutely loved it. I heard about it from Nerdrotic's channel
Yeah.
on YouTube. He's a pretty big movie critic.
Yeah, you know a movie's really good that, like, if Godzilla wasn't in that movie, it would still be a good movie. If you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
just how well it was written, how well it was acted. That it just goes to show that Japan needs to hold on to their own IP.
Yeah.
Don't give it to the West. Don't give it to the West.
Yep, and they just have this unique voice and storytelling,
Yeah,
and I love it, and I hope that they retain that in the future.
yeah, 100%.
and I think Godzilla minus one is actually better with subtitles rather than
Yeah,
and listening to it in Japanese than it is actually with the English dubs, because I started watching it. It was the English dubs, and I'm like, man, I really hate this. I really hate the English
yeah.
dubs. And then I switched it to Japanese and started again,
Yeah.
and it was just so much better. It's just
The
so much better.
I watched it with English dubs, and it wasn't horrible. Like, it was, as English dubs go, it was really good for English dubs, you know. But it's you lose something, you know.
We do
Yeah.
100%, and that's the reason why. I'll agree with you, Alexander. The earlier anime that came out, like say back in 2012, 2010, I would watch with the English dub because it was good. It felt like they were trying a lot harder than what they are now. And now most of the stuff I watch on Crunchyroll and Anime Lab is I just have subtitles, and that's it, because it's just the English dubs just don't sound as good as they used to. And like you say, Jamie, especially with the anime, it feels like you're losing something
Yeah.
when you're not listening to it in Japanese. So yeah, I 100% agree. All the anime I watched recently, or in the last say 5 years, has definitely been in Japanese with just English subs. It's just so much better.
100%.
Okay, all right, Jamie, do you want to bring up the picture for the next one?
Now, don't freak out, Ryan, but this is a new picture.
Oh, okay. Has it got spiders on it?
No.
Then that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Ta-da! I've updated it.
Okay, I like it. I like it. So obviously, Alexander, this is something that you're familiar with. It's a monument in your wonderful country, called Mount Rushmore, with some famous presidents on there. So what we want to know is, what is on your Mount Rushmore of television shows? It can be any genre, any era. Just in your opinion, what do you think are your four favorite or four best TV shows in your opinion?
So I don't know if I have an unusual list. I have some really basic. I would describe them as white girl tastes.
Okay.
I guess. This is like my least favorite of the four, but I'm gonna start with this one is Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
With it's very mainstream, it's very popular. I just enjoy it. I really like the characters. I was talking to somebody about it yesterday, and I was like, the thing about Big Bang Theory is I feel like the characters are likable. Like
Yeah.
Leonard, Sheldon, Howard, Penny. All of them like have redeeming qualities, whereas I watch something like Friends and I'm like, I don't like anybody on that show. I don't like Ross, Chandler. Joey is like the only one who has some tolerable characteristics, but
Wow.
the everybody else, I'm like, I can't stand to watch these people. Same with Seinfeld. That's probably number one. Number two would be The Mentalist,
All
with
right.
Simon Baker. I love that one, and it's the rare TV show where they knew where to end it. After the Red John plot line, even though the Red John reveal was a little bit disappointing in my opinion, the seventh season I feel is one of the best seasons in the entire show.
Wow.
Okay.
Um, Frieren, the anime, is probably my third. I would say that's probably my favorite TV show of all time. I just love the slower nature, kind of like the exploration of kind of like her past and her kind of like learning how to feel and recognize other people's emotions. And then the fourth one in a similar vein is probably a Violet Evergarden on Netflix. It's also an anime. The premise is it's this girl who she was kind of bred to be a weapon of war, and the war ends, and she comes home and she doesn't know what to do with herself, and so she works as what's called a love doll. They write love letters for other people, and each episode explores like a different aspect of love. Like so, you have like familial love, you have the love between like a brother and sister, the love between like a father and a daughter, romantic love, love of like study. There's one where she writes love letters for an astronomer. So it's a fantastic show, beautiful animation. So I think those would be my top four. I'll probably, if anybody watches this and is familiar with all four, they'll probably be like, he has terrible taste. So, but those are probably the four that I would pick.
No, that's all right. No, well, we've had a few people have some weird ones. You know, it's just like, oh, okay.
In my opinion, Big Bang Theory, I can 100 million% agree with, because I guess when that first came out, being a nerd myself, I could identify with the characters, and I was and still am a massive comic book reader. I read comics every day. I have since I was a little kid, and all the way up to now. I'm 43, and I still enjoy comics. And so I guess, when they kind of brought in Stu and his comic shop, and they go there, and I mean, even though all the titles on the wall, and this is how much I like the show, I'd pause it and I'd look at all the titles on the wall, and because it was a Warner Brothers company, they were all only ever DC, because DC Comics is owned by Warner Brothers. There was no Marvel or anything else like that. But yeah, I 100% agree with Big Bang Theory. That was such a good show, and to see the evolution of especially Leonard and Sheldon from the very first episode all the way to the last episode was a really good ride to have, 100%. So yeah, I think that's a must. Big Bang Theory, even though it is mainstream, I think it's a must watch for any real nerd if you want to get something that's relatable to you, on screen, which at the time you didn't really get a lot of. It was all, like you say, Friends, or, all those kind of shows where everyone is good looking and, amazingly built and everything like that. And then you've got something like Big Bang Theory where they kind of actually look like real people.
Yeah.
And Big Bang Theory also does something that Harry Potter does, which is why a key factor in why the two series were so successful is they're both really comfortable. When you're in Leonard and Sheldon's apartment, it feels like an extra room that belongs in your house if you like the series. Like the friends feel like a real friend group, and very similar to Harry Potter, when you are reading the Harry Potter books or watching the movies, Hogwarts feels like an extra place that you live in almost. I think it's an underrated aspect of those two intellectual properties that people feel at home when they're watching them, or in Harry Potter's case, reading it.
Yeah, 100%. I can agree 100%. Definitely.
There you go. All right. Oh, I forgot about this question somehow. What's your zombie apocalypse plan?
This is gonna sound sociopathic, but
murder everyone.
Yeah. Well, you thin out the herd, right? So you take out their resources, and you also remove the zombie fodder around you. So it's like if there's a zombie apocalypse, I'm like, oh, this person looks like they'd lie about being bitten. Bam! This person looks like they'd slow us down. Bam! Like just you got like morality, I guess, is suspended temporarily when you're in a zombie apocalypse. So, but that would be my do all the prepper stuff, but then take everybody else's stuff as well. I'd probably fail. Somebody else would probably kill me because I'm not that skilled.
Well, was that character in The Walking Dead? It was early on because it was when I was still watching it because I never finished it. where he was like a priest or something, and he locked his congregation outside of the church, just let
Yeah.
them turn. Like, dude, that is so dark.
Yeah, that's such a Joel Osteen thing to do, isn't it?
Well, he kind of did that with the floods.
I know. That's what
Holy
I'm saying.
smokes.
Touchy. And I've always said
That's
never try.
That's about as religious as I'll ever get on a podcast, because I'm not religious at all. But I just know that man and that smile, he just looked too much like the Joker to be, a religious leader.
Well, I've always said never trust someone who smiles too much. Like,
Yeah. Oh no, I got to stop smiling on this podcast. So...
I said too much. Too much.
Yeah.
You can smile, but just like calm down.
All right, okay. So the last question, and I think this is now the third time it's been changed, or the second time it's been changed, because we used to have it as Bill and Ted, but then so many people we interviewed said, "Who's Bill and Ted?" And that just got annoying. So now it's I'm gonna actually have to read the question because I haven't read it yet. So I'm just gonna bring it up. Just talk amongst yourselves. No, I'm joking. It's here. Google Drive. Yes, here we go. Okay, Dr. Emmett Brown. Now I'm assuming you know who Dr. Emmett Brown is.
From Back to the Future?
That's it. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So Dr. Emmett Brown leaves his DeLorean parked in your driveway. Where and when do you go?
I go to the future to rob people because I think that if you rob people in the future, when you get back to the past, they're not going to exist anymore. And so there's absolutely no way they can track you down. It's an infinite moneymaker.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Okay.
That's really inventive. It almost reminds me of like that one good Ryan L. Johnson movie. What is it? Looper, where they murder people in the future and bury them in the past, or is it the other way around? Like they use time travel to get rid of bodies, essentially.
That's interesting.
That's pretty cool. It's a cool movie. Looper with Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis, and Emily Blunt.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. I get it confused with Jumper.
Yeah,
quite often, just because I think they came out around the same time. I could be wrong about that, but
I think there'd be 5-year difference or something. It'd be close.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know, for whatever reason as a kid I used to get them mixed up for some reason.
Well, one's super violent and the other one's not.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. I like that answer. I don't think we've had anyone ever commit crimes in that time travel question, so I'm down for that.
Yeah. Well, I was like, everybody would go to visit their favorite person, and I was like, that's actually an idea that I have for a book, is where you have a group of thieves who go to the future because they think that they're never going to get caught, and then eventually like something goes wrong and you have people from the future kind of like trying to hunt them down. And so it's
you better trademark that because that's a really good idea. I'm wanting to steal it right now, but I'm like, no, it's not my idea.
Yeah. Well, that's one where I'm not like super committed to doing it. So if anybody wants to write about it, like feel free. Yeah. Somebody who loves AI probably has already taken it.
Yeah.
Put it into Chat GPT.
There is a comic series that I'm reading at the moment from 2021 called Time Before Time, and what the premise is there is it's like it's set, main universe is set in the future, like 2234 or something, and what they do is people that commit crimes and then rat out their bosses and stuff, that go into witness protection, but instead of going into witness protection, there's this company that they pay money to that will actually take them back in time and set them up in an apartment like 50 years before they were even born and stuff like that. And so it's like criminals from the future doing the crime in the future and then coming back to the past. So it's a little bit similar, but it's an interesting perspective, like you don't really think about how that works.
Um, well, I like the first thing I think of is like, man, you would introduce some real problems into the gene pool if you had like you settle down a little too close to where you were born.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
it's still an interesting concept.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, the icebreakers are done. You passed with flying
Cool.
colours. So we move on to the fun
Thank you.
part. So
Yeah.
it seems we've already talked about comic books and we love origin stories. What's your author origin story? How did it start for you?
So I was reading a book called Silver Wing by Kenneth Opel or Opel. I actually think he's from Canada, maybe. But the story is about a bat. He's like the runt of the colony, and he gets separated, and he journeys back, and it kind of goes through. The second book deals with him. He's gotten a little bit older. He has a love interest. The third book deals with his son, and there's like a bat god called Camazotz, and his son ends up getting sucked down to hell. And looking back on it, I'm like, wow, this is a pretty heavy topic for 7, 8 year old because that's the demographic it's
Mm.
marketed towards, I think. But at the end of the book, the main character, Shade, he finds his son, and his son has been killed. And in order to send his son back home, back to life to his mother, he has to sacrifice himself, and it gives his soul to his son so that his son can return to life. I remember as a 7 year old, maybe I was 8, I just like sobbing as I read this part of the story, just because I loved that depiction of a father's love for his son. And that was the moment where I was like, I want to be a writer. I want to make people cry, essentially. And so I don't think I've done that with any of my books yet, but I plan to. I really love books that stick with you and make you think and maybe change you. And so those are the books that I love to read as well.
Awesome. Well, let's take a look at some of your books. You got two books out, if I'm remembering correctly.
Uh, 4, but
Four.
two of them, yeah, two of them don't appear on my Amazon page for whatever
Oh,
reason, and
okay.
I've tried to get it fixed, but it's kind of slow going.
Yeah. Well, then we'll
Um,
talk about the two that I've I've come across.
yeah, no worries. So
Um, well, this is the first one.
awesome. So this is When the King Was Born. It's actually a prequel to the first book that I ever published. The
Oh,
first book I published was called Everfont, and the premise of Everfont is they live on this desert world called Grit. And the main girl, Ryan, she's trying to save up enough money to take her and her sister through a magic portal to another world because you have planets that are connected through magic portals called funnels. And the reason they're trying to escape is because magic, it's called Imperia in this universe, has been outlawed on Grit specifically. And so just as she's about to, save up enough money to buy a sand sailor to take her across the desert to this funnel, the king's kind of like lapdog, he's called the Seeker, finds them, and that's kind of where the story begins. Is some problems ensue, and then when the king was born is about the origin story of the king, how he kind of got to where he was and why he is the way he is.
Okay. That sounds really cool.
so portals to other worlds. Is there a little bit of Stargate inspiration there, or
Not Stargate, but looking back on it, I think that's probably the case. The I think there's three inspiration for the funnels. The first is Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere,
all right?
because you have a lot of interconnected worlds there, and I wanted something. The reason I did that is because I wanted to create one magic system that was fairly simple to understand, but that could have a lot of depth
Yeah.
if I choose to explore it. And so that way, every book that I write in this universe, you instantly know how the magic system works. The second inspiration is the Pendragon series by DJ McHale.
Mhm.
They travel to other worlds through things called flumes. And I think the funnel is almost a direct rip from the flumes. It's probably the most blatant plagiarism I've ever engaged in. And the third inspiration is Kingdom Hearts. I'm sure you guys
Nice.
are aware
Yeah,
of
yeah.
traveling to different worlds. I grew up on that series. I love it. And so those are probably the three inspirations for the funnels and this universe. I consider this the When the King Was Born. It's probably my worst written book,
Ooh.
to be honest.
Should I take it away
So,
then?
no, it's fine. Just it was my second book published. I didn't have an editor. I tried to go in and fix it. It's just kind of a hot mess. It's serviceable.
Yeah,
If you read it, I don't think you'll be like, that was the worst book I've ever read, but I
yeah,
definitely don't think that it's one that sticks with you.
yeah.
So,
No, well, even I'm pumping
Oh
out
well,
books pretty
I
quickly.
just,
You just bought it, did you, Ryan?
I did. I just bought it, and you said it's the worst book I've ever written. I was like, oh,
oh no.
I,
Apologies. Well, if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but thank you for
no, he reached myself.
purchasing
No,
it.
but I was saying like I go back and check on like I went back because I'm writing a sequel to Ancora, which came out last year, mid last year, which is ironically 3 books ago. 'Cause- but I was just like, geez, I can see my own improvement. I mean, this is
Yeah.
weird. I kind of wish I didn't do that series until I was a better writer because now I know I'm better, and it's like I've got to kind of still match the voice of this character. But like, did she suddenly get
Yeah.
better at speaking English? You know, it's just
Larry Larry Correa kind of talks about that. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's the author of the Monster Hunter International series, but he talked about how a lot of authors are judged on like their first books,
yeah,
and like it kind of stays with you through your whole career.
yeah,
And I feel like that where I look back, even on books that I just recently published, like Land of the Imagined and There Will Be Thousands, I'm like, man, even though like I'm only like a few months removed from those. There's some things like like that I've learned since that time where I'm like,
yeah,
I could have done so much better.
yeah,
So
yeah. No, well, I think at some point I will go back and I'll do a re-edit and I'll do some tweaks
yeah.
because we're
And that's a
self-published.
great
oh,
oh, sorry, you go ahead.
I was just saying because we're self-published, we can do it. You know.
Yeah, and it's a great marketing opportunity as well to do that I don't think a lot of authors quite capitalize on because you can do like a hey, this was the first book or book series that I ever published in my career.
Yeah.
I have since grown as an author. You don't change the plot points, but you just change the
Yeah.
language a little bit.
Yeah. Exactly. And it also helps because I did.
so that
Yeah. Go Ryan.
I was just going to ask. So that book that we were just talking about, you said that was a prequel. Was it a prequel to Everfont?
Yep, Everfont. Everfont is the one about the young girl, and then When the King Was Born is about the king.
Okay,
And
cool. Well, I just bought both of them, so that's good.
ta-da!
Oh, well, thank you.
It's
So I
it's what we
appreciate
do.
that.
I didn't like because my December has been so hectic. I even though like I was up at Newcastle for most of the time, which is just to give you an idea of where it is. It's like 2.5 hours away from where I normally live, and we were just staying in like a small motel room and spending 8 hours a day in the hospital, where my dad was asleep a lot. So I did a lot of reading while I was away, and
Yeah.
I remember I bought your latest book, the one that won our cover of the year. I bought that while we were in Newcastle. I haven't read it yet, but I Jamie said we got 2 interviews today. This is this person, this person. It just didn't click that you were that person that won the best cover, which book I'd already bought. So I mean, I was thinking today, oh, I probably won't buy any books, but meh, doesn't matter.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy them, and if you don't, like, feel free to tell me. Like, I can take it, So when I published my first book, and this is not a sob story. I'm not looking for any pity, I guess. But there was this mentor that I really respect, and I sent the book to her, and like I was like so excited because I got a lot of good feedback on it, and she
Yeah.
was like, "You should not have published this book. You should not be a writer. You should go to college and like
Oh,
pick a different profession." I was like,
wow.
"Whoa!" like, and so it really kind of shattered my confidence. But I have since kind of rebuilt it, but I have. I think that's probably about the worst thing I could hear. So, and if anybody's like, "Hey, your book sucks," it's like, "Yeah, it's fine." Like, I get it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm
Well, that's the thing. Like,
excited to hear your thoughts.
not everyone's got like the people that and I'm not a writer. I'm the reader. Like I read. I've set myself a goal to read 60 books this year, and that's my goal. And I've already finished one for January, so that's my goal. But there are the people that annoy me. The readers that annoy me are readers that they say, for example, they don't like the fantasy genre, and they buy your book, they read it, and they review it and give it a low review because they don't like fantasy. But I don't understand why you bought the book to read it if you don't like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
I love fantasy, so if I read it and I don't like it because of, so I'm not saying I won't like it. I haven't read a book this year or last year that I didn't like, but like I have read a lot of fantasy, so I know what fantasy I like. But the people that annoy me are those people that they don't like. I hate westerns. I cannot watch Western movies, play Western games, read Western comics, read Western books or anything. It'd be like me going and buying a Western book and then giving it 1 star because it was a Western. It's those kind
Yeah.
of people I cannot stand. And to me, that's not creative. That's not creative feedback. That's just they're looking for a reason to complain. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's
It's it's like if you had bought Red Dead Redemption 2 and then you're like, this game is worse than Skyrim. Skyrim is better in every single way than Red Dead Redemption. It's just because it's fantasy. So, but
Yeah.
I totally understand. So,
and that's probably the thing that Jamie despises most about me because his favorite game, one of his favorite games of all time, is Red Dead Redemption 2. And I used to play it no matter how good the story is because I don't like Westerns.
yeah,
And I've never,
it is a good, it is, oh, it is a good game, but I totally understand. I didn't really like Westerns until, I want to say about 10 years ago, because as a kid, my dad loved them. And like, I was just like, ooh, dad's so uncool. So
Yeah.
Westerns must be uncool. And then, I got older, and like you mature and you realize your dad is a pretty great guy.
Yeah.
And, I was like, yeah, I do like Westerns actually, but, I understand the dislike of them as well.
I don't like all westerns. I just like a good story.
Yeah.
Doesn't
And
matter what it is.
that's my opinion as well, that there's some great storytelling in Westerns. There's some bad storytelling in Westerns. And Red Dead Redemption 2 has a great story.
Yep, I'm currently replaying it right now. Um,
Like,
I spent the last couple of hours fishing and throwing them back in the water to make my honor go up.
that's so great. Holy smokes.
It's so dumb. It's got the weirdest honor system. It's like
Yeah.
you run around and just murder people and then go, here, fishy, go back, and your honor goes back up. Give some money to the poor, the honor goes back up. It's just like,
Yeah. It's can't quite get the level of realism that
yeah,
you should. They really tried, but
yeah,
not quite there yet.
yeah, yeah. Awesome. All right, well, let's check out the cover that won the award last year. This cover is just phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah,
definitely.
it's so a fun story about when it was being made is I had a completely different cover in mind, and they sent this to me, and I was like, and it wasn't this, it was the initial mock-up, and I was like, I
Yeah,
don't like it because it's not what I had in mind.
yeah,
But then I was like, it still looks cool, it still fits the theme of the book. The characters are mostly accurate. And so I was like, all right, like I can set aside my pride for this and admit that this is a pretty good cover. And so my initial message to them was like, I'm not a fan that like we didn't go with the idea that I had, but this is a really good cover. So I'm excited to move forward. And the cover artist contacted me, Megan King. She's like, okay, like what did you have in mind? Because we can go in that direction. And I was like, oh, you guys know I'm fine with the cover, right? And they were like, oh, we didn't know that. Like we thought you hated it. And so I was like, no, 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 it's all good. So I'm really glad for her artistic vision and how she kind of like portrayed this world because I think it's grown on me a lot and I have grown to love it.
So did she read it, or just excerpts of it, or
Just excerpts of it, I think. And that's kind of where she got the idea. I gave her a list of ideas for it, but and she pulled from that list of ideas and came up with this. It's the oddest part of working with cover artists is they typically don't have time to read the books that they're making art
obvious?
for.
Yeah,
And so I've got some artwork coming in right now for this book. It's five of the characters, and you have to sometimes correct little details. You're like, oh, this character has black hair
yeah,
instead of blonde. And
yeah,
it's just those little details that you don't really think about, but you're like, oh, yeah, they haven't read the book here.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm so fussy with my covers. Like, I'm very visual, and I try to get it as close to as I possibly can. And if I realize that I can't do it myself, then I give it to an artist. But it's so close that I give it to like the cover for Ancora, which I did. I basically took my niece to a lookout and dressed her up how I wanted the character to look. Took a photo, then I sent it to the artist, and the artist was just bam, and captured it brilliantly. You know.
That is
But
awesome. And like just like it may seem like a lot of effort like to
yeah,
people who like are not picky about covers, but it's like no,
yeah,
it's super important like
yeah,
to capture your vision. So that is awesome. I love that. Love that.
yeah. It's just like because I have things in my head. I just want to know how to do it.
Yeah.
I probably don't have the patience to work with artists, to be honest. It's like
Yeah. I'm a little flexible. I would say
yeah,
I try so hard to be flexible because we've
yeah,
all worked with those people that are like it must be this way, and
yeah,
like
yeah,
and so I try to be like no, like I'll give a little bit of leeway here and there.
yeah,
So
yeah. Cool. So, are these maybe tell us a bit about the story itself? Like these characters on the front, are they obviously prominent in the story?
they are. So the guy in the robe staring at the figure in shadow, he is Pyrrhus and he's the main character. And so Pyrrhus wakes up in the land of the ill-imagined, and he is met by two characters that tell him he's not real, he doesn't exist. And they inform him that the land of the ill-imagined is where half-formed ideas that are not expressed come to essentially spend the rest of eternity. And the rule is like if somebody has an idea for an invention or like a character or a story or anything really you can think of, maybe an idealized version of yourself, and you've never told anybody about that, those ideas end up in the land of the ill-imagined. And so when they first show up, they may not be fully formed, and so Pyrrhus doesn't really remember who he is, and so he meets this group of people called the censors, which hunt down villainous sotlings. And it's kind of to keep the peace because you have really, really powerful people who are being imagined here, and some of them have to be locked away in what's called the villain vault, so they're not going around killing everybody. And so he joins them. While he joins them, there's an alternate point of view that comes in every once in a while, where there is a crystal where villains are trapped in crystals. They're called villain crystals, and they're put in the villain vault. Well, there's a crystal that is breaking, which should not be possible in the land of the ill-imagined,
Wow.
and it contains the Prime Shadow, which is this character on the cover. And if the Prime Shadow gets out, he's going to destroy the land of the ill-imagined because he is kind of like the embodiment of humanity's fear of the dark. And so the two at some point in the story they intersect. But it kind of deals with the story itself kind of deals with well, what happens when an idea here dies? Is there any effect in the real world or on the people who have created them? What happens when an idea is created? What happens to them in the land of the imagined? Do these thoughtling have choice. Can Pyrrhus determine his fate, even though he's only the creation of like somebody who's mortal, or can he not? And those are the themes that are kind of present in the book. This it's planned to be 5 books that kind of explore that concept of like, do they have a free will or not?
That is such a cool
Awesome.
idea. I actually genuinely think this would be like an amazing classic Disney movie. Like, I don't know, I'm just feeling it's like, do you
Thank
think
you.
that'd work? Would that work as like a Pixar film?
Yes, with Disney as they are now,
No,
probably
probably
not.
not. No,
But the
a
Disney
classic.
of the
Yeah,
90s,
yeah,
yeah, I think it could, yeah. And I specifically designed this world and the function of it. Like, if you didn't want to tell Pyrrhus's story, you could do a myriad number of like other
yeah.
stories, provided they were good. And so, just because of the nature of the world, and so. Um, I just kind of want to write the 5 books in there because I have a very specific vision. But
Yeah.
once I do the 5 books, if it's popular enough, I would like to have guest authors like write in the world as well if they wanted to.
That's awesome.
Um, so yeah, but I think that it could do really well as Disney. I think it would do really well as an anime.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like just strange enough that I think the that it would work really well.
Oh yeah, do that. Give it to the Japanese. They'll do they'll do a really good job.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but that's that would be a pipe dream. That's my bucket list item, is to get
Yeah.
this made into an anime as well.
In a lot of
So,
way, that'd be easier than the 3D animated and stuff like that. Um,
yeah. So,
so speaking of ideas, where did the idea for this come from? Like, it's such an interesting concept. So it's like, how did it form in your mind?
um I can't really pinpoint, like it kind of evolved over like a decade or so. So the first 2 characters that I created were a rabbit called Bouncer, who's decked out in full like knight armor. And he has
Nice.
like this giant double-sided battle axe that is bigger than him, twice as big as him. And this really lanky, she's like 6'5", 6'4" girl who is rail thin and wields a shotgun and always is smoking a cigar. And she's like 18 or 19. And I had initially, like when I was 12 or so, pictured these 2 characters as like a buddy cop kind of a duo, where the bouncer, who's the rabbit, is this really grizzled veteran, and like you don't expect it because he's like this cute little bunny. And this girl who's got this cigar and she looks like she should be the grizzled veteran is just kind of like this ADHD ball of like energy. And those are the 2 that I first came up with, but I couldn't think of a way to present them in a way that was digestible to an audience, because everybody has
Yeah,
a threshold
yeah,
for disbelief. And how do you put these 2 characters together and not make the audience disbelieve them? And so over the course of like 10 years, I kind of workshopped it and just would come back to the idea every once in a while. And then I was like, I think at one point I heard of the idea of a zeitgeist, which is collective unconscious. And I was like, it'd be really cool to set a story there. And I was like, but I'm pretty sure that's been done before. How do I make it unique? And that's when the idea of ideas that have never been shared, or kind of like your secret desires, come in.
yeah,
And I was like, that is the twist that will make this story unique. And because everybody, I feel, or mostly everybody, has like ideas or like secret desires that they don't express to very many people. And like there's a concept that's not covered in the first book, but it's a major part of the second. Is they're called cognizance, where if you have this idealized version of yourself, like let's say you imagine yourself as like fit and hot and rich, that version of you will appear in the land of the imagined, but they
oh,
can't be created until you become that version. So there's a lot of cognizance running around that will never be created.
oh.
Okay.
So it gets really fit, really full there in January when people have their New Year's resolutions. You know,
Yep. Yeah,
you, you
exactly.
get all these gym junkies walking in. You know,
Yep. Just a bunch of like muscles on muscles
yeah.
bodybuilders. So,
I oh, I remember coming out of the movie theater one year, and this guy had only been working on his arms. Like It was the weirdest thing. His arms were massive, but he little chicken legs, no pecs or anything. It was just arms. It's just like that's all he'd been doing. We're like, jeez. Where's the rest of it?
I knew a guy who was similar. He had a whiteboard in his apartment, and he had his name, and it was like this guy's name, his journey to 4 plates. And he would only work out his arms. One day I went to the gym with him, and there was this big, beefy black guy who like looked at him. And he's like, "Man, you look like an orange on 2 toothpicks." And like this guy turned beet red, my friend, because he never did leg day. And so it was very, very similar to the guys that you have seen.
Awesome. So, what are you working on at the moment? You mentioned there's going to be 5 books in that series. Are you just focusing on that, or are you doing a whole lot of other stuff in between?
So I released another book last year called There Will Be Thousands. And this book is about a slaver. It's fantasy. It's about a slaver who his bandit troop gets killed, and he becomes a slave himself, and he is forced to work alongside the slaves that he once sold. And it's a redemption story for him. I'm working on the sequel to that one right now. I'm about 10,000 words away from being finished with it, and then I'm going to go back and do edits. The sequel to Land of the Imagined has already been written. It needs a few edits, a little bit of a rework before it's ready for release. But I plan on hopefully getting that one out, the sequel to Land of the Imagined, by October, and then the sequel to There Will Be Thousands out around May or June. And so those are my 2 projects I'm focused on right now.
So how fast do you write? Like, are you?
It really depends. I have a bare minimum word goal every single day of 1,000 words.
Okay, that's cool.
But I try to hit 3,000, and I can do 1,000 if I'm not really focusing on quality. If I'm just focusing on I need to get this down, I can do about 1,000 in 30 minutes. But if I am focusing on okay, this needs to be perfect, more of like an editing stage, it takes me about 2 hours to do that.
So. Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Unless you got any other questions, Ryan, I think it's time to play the game.
No, I'm good. I've got 3 of Alexander's books to read, so I'm in a fantasy zone at the moment, reading your book. So I think after I finish your book, I'll definitely read The Land of the Ill-Imagined, because that idea. I remember when you told me the idea when we were doing the awards, that that and the cover itself caused me to buy it. And I've got a couple of other fantasy books on my list to read. So I'm taking a little break from the horror stuff for a while, and just gonna read a few fantasy books, I think. So yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for purchasing those. It is just like one of my goals as an author is like I just hope to entertain, and so I hope that when you're reading this book, like that you're entertained. If you're able to take something away from it, even better. So thank you for that.
It's what we
do. No problems. I love this podcast because my TBR has gone from like 5 books to I think up to 62 at the moment. So I'm loving it. I never don't have anything to read, so I've always got something.
Yeah, a lot of great authors out there. There's you could probably read all the books in the world and still come up a bit short because there's always new ones coming out too.
That's
100%.
That's just like this podcast. People keep reaching out all the time wanting to come on. I'm like, slow down. I'm just like, it is a nightmare. I've got a list and I'm like, I'm trying to get through it. And that's just like, and then people keep adding to it. And I'm like, going, oh my,
Yep. The stress builds and builds and builds.
Yeah, because I'm not always the best at being like organized, like I am to an extent, but
I think that comes with being a writer almost. Yeah. So most writers I meet are not organized. I'm like, I am right there with you. So
yeah. All right, so we're gonna play a game. It's called Story Pitch, but I'll bring up the graphics so you know what's going on. So this game is called Story Pitch. It's like you got to improvise almost on the spot. No, on the spot to pitch us a story. So there's a setting, a genre, a main character's profession, and a crazy edition. And you basically got to give us a number between 1 and 12 for each category. We will give them back to you in the form of a setting, a genre, and a main character, and all that stuff. And then you got to pitch us a story. So to get the ball rolling, give us your numbers between 1 and 12.
4, 9, 1, and 7.
4, 9, 1, and 7. All right, let me check the graph. Who's going to bring it up? Okay, so your setting is a 4, so it's a train. I think we've had this once before.
Yeah, and your genre being 9 is horror.
Ooh, Ryan loves it already. Mm-hmm. Your main character is a super spy.
And your crazy edition, which is something that must appear in the story. And your story must have an M. Night Shyamalan plot twist.
So,
okay, I've got this. Give me like 10 seconds.
You're right. I'll just run it through for the listeners again. It's on a train. It's a horror. The main character's a super spy, and it has to have an M. Night Shyamalan plot twist.
Okay.
Plot twist.
Okay. Phoenix Smith is a super spy for MI6 out of England, and he is sent to Russia to intercept the delivery of nuclear material that is being transported by train. However, the nuclear material has been placed on a passenger train to look inconspicuous, and so he has boarded it as a luxury cruise passenger so he can get on there. While he is on there, people start going missing, and there is a monster that begins chasing people down the length of a train. It's kind of like a hooded figure. It's got like 6, 7, 8 arms sticking out from under its hood. It's got like, think like a Dementor from Harry Potter, but like this gaping mouth full of razor sharp teeth. And so instead of attacking this or looking for their nuclear material that's being transported, Phoenix Smith is kind of like enrolled into this cat and mouse game, trying to escape this creature while protecting these innocent Russian passengers. At the end of the kind of like story, you find out that this train, everybody on board the train is actually dead. Phoenix Smith is actually dead as well, and this creature that is chasing him is actually the Grim Reaper, which is not like this noble and benign figure. It is this ravenous beast that is always hungry to consume the souls of the dead. And Phoenix Smith ends up sacrificing himself to get the creature off the train so the rest of the passengers can safely make it to heaven.
Ooh.
That's I'm saying that's quicker than Molly McCarb's.
Yeah, pretty close to it, yeah.
That's wow. All right. Surprise, there's a round 2. There's a whole new graph, so you can give us the same numbers and it'll be different, or you can give us new numbers, but it's up to you.
Let's do, it's 1 through 12.
Yep.
Let's do 12, 3, 6, and 8.
12, 3, 6, and 8. Okay, so your setting... Oh, we've had this one before. It's the Bermuda Triangle.
And your genre is historical fiction.
Ooh. Okay, your main character is a relationship coach.
And your crazy addition, which is something that has to appear in your story, is a heist.
A heist.
A heist?
Yep.
Oh boy.
So the setting is Bermuda Triangle. It's a historical fiction. Your main character is a relationship coach, and it has to have a heist in it.
Okay. This is rough. Shoot. Yeah, I've got to workshop an idea here.
I don't know how you're going to have a heist in the Bermuda Triangle. That's the crazy thing.
Unless the Bermuda Triangle is the heist.
Oh.
Oh, did I just help? Did I just help?
No, I don't think so. I apologize.
No, you're right. You know what? I know we've never done this before, but if it's too hard, I'll allow you to switch one of them.
No, don't do that. That's not fair.
No, it is. It is. Look, if it gets too like if it's impossible, but it's once.
Okay.
Once.
Alexander's played Elden Ring a lot. He doesn't know the meaning of too hard.
Okay. All right. Okay. This is a bit unorthodox. Okay. Our main character is Denver Miles. He's a relationship coach. He's the only one of his profession because it's taking place around like 17, I want to say 50s or 60s.
1750s.
He is employed by George Washington because George Washington's brother Lawrence Washington is dying. He's dying of a sickness, which is a true fact, by the way. Lawrence Washington was originally set to inherit the estate, if I remember correctly, and because he passed away, George inherited the estate. And so George hires Denver because George Washington actually went to Lawrence Washington somewhere in the Caribbean for his health. And we're going to change that to the Bermuda Triangle, just fudge history a little bit.
That's right.
And Denver is trying to help George. He's hired by Lawrence to help George cope with Lawrence's impending death. And so George doesn't want Denver there. Lawrence is trying to help the two kind of like bond so that when Lawrence is gone, he can help George. While they're in the Bermuda Triangle, pirates, let's say that's
the Caribbean.
That's too
Johnny
yeah,
Depp.
pirates. Well, I was going to say from Somalia, but that's a little too modern. Let's say unaffiliated pirates.
Okay.
Hear that Lawrence is there, and so they perform the heist. They kidnap Lawrence so that they can ransom his inheritance. And George is determined to save his brother, and so he drags Denver Miles, the relationship coach, along with him to save and kidnap his brother back.
Brilliant. Nice recovery.
So,
that
one was rough. I much like my first idea better.
Yeah.
I think the first idea was
full disclosure. Our first graph is a lot easier than the second graph.
Oh, really?
At least so far. Yeah. I love that game. I love that game. Well, thanks for joining us. It's been a blast. It went super quick.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been an hour and I think 20 minutes so far. So holy smokes.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for having me on. I have a website. It's alexanderrob.com, I think. I'm on Twitter as the Starwald, Facebook and Instagram as well. I can't promise that I have particularly interesting tweets, but I think that I am a fairly decent writer, and that if you pick up There Will Be Thousands or Everfont or Land of the Ill-Imagined, you will have a good time.
Excellent. Well, I was gonna tell you to say all that, but I don't have to now.
I can feel it coming.
You can feel it coming. You're part of us already. So guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you want to reach out, thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. Reach out on the socials. Check out Rebecca Kearsells, Martin Kearns, Alexander Robb, and Janelle Schiecke, 4 of our sponsors, shall we say. Check out this stuff. Keep supporting those indie authors, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
See you next time.
You guys have a good one. Make sure to subscribe.